You know, I wasn't scared. I've never been scared on a mound, but if I'm being really honest, I was pretty terrified. This was the summer of 2003, and I had just signed my first professional baseball contract, and I was set to make my first appearance in Billings, Montana. I remember it crystal clear. I remember my dad and my sister making this 18-hour trip to come watch me, and you know, I was set to face a team that was really good in the Pioneer League. They had guys like Joey Votto, future Hall of Famer, Miggy Perez and Chris Dickerson, some other really good players. And the first batter I faced was this guy named Walt Olmsted. And I don't even think he made it to the big leagues, but at that time, he was like Babe Ruth. And sure enough, he took me a yard, about 400 feet over the right field wall against my first professional hitter. And at that point, the game got really, really fast and the walls closed in. And I wasn't pitching in front of 50,000 crazy Canadians on Canada Day in 2006 in Toronto. This was in front of maybe 2,000 people in Billings, Montana, on a stadium that resembled the one in Bull Durham. I really had one thought after I gave up that home run, and it was, I don't belong here. Now, doubt is really a kind of crazy thing, because you can do something correct 99 times, but if something goes wrong that 100th time, that tends to be the only thing you remember. So what do you do when doubt creeps in? How do you address that? How do you reset? Well, for me, when I was on that mound after giving up that moonshot, I went back to the little kid. I went back to the little kid who played wiffle ball with his brother pretty much every single day and night for as long as I can remember. I went back to the kid who played 3 sports all 4 years throughout high school and became the guy, especially with regards to baseball. I go back to the guy who changed when he went to Edmonds Community College, the guy who learned what work was, the guy who learned what sacrifice was, the guy who was willing to lay it on the line for his teammates day in and day out. We won back-to-back NWAC championships at Edmonds, and it wasn't because I was sacrificing. It was because every single guy on that roster did everything it took to make us better. You know, and that's kind of a crazy thing, because when a group of guys bands together and is willing to do whatever it takes for each other, they can be pretty good. It's even rarer when those guys that do that happen to be the most talented guys in the entire league. We boat raced everyone. So I got drafted, and I'm on this mound in Billings, Montana, and thinking, good grief, I'm a 19th rounder out of Edmonds Community College. I don't belong here. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. But I took a big, deep breath. I did what my dad always told me to do. Step off the back of the mound, take a deep breath, reset, and get after it. Mentality's a really interesting thing, and to me, it's the only absolute non-negotiable in sports. You can have elite athleticism. You can be the most skilled player in the world. You can be the pitcher with the absolute nastiest stuff you've ever seen. But if you do not have elite mentality, you have nothing. And that sounds really harsh, and it might be, especially to people who don't get it, to people who are non-athletes and don't understand that world. It's almost delusional, the amount of self-belief you have. There was a time after that Billings outing where I could have told you, go get A-Rod, go get whoever at that time and put them in front of me. I will get them out. And that's crazy, right? It's crazy to think about as a 20-year-old kid that you could get out the best players in the world, but that's what it takes. Because there's gonna be days where you don't feel good, where your stuff is awful, where your arm doesn't feel right. So who are you on those days? Because it's really easy to throw well when you feel well, when your stuff feels nasty, when the conditions are just right. Who are you when they're not? Are you able to reset to that person who did all the work to get you exactly where you are? That person who sacrificed mornings to run sprints in the gym at Edmonds Community College until everyone threw up? The kid who couldn't sleep the night before out of pure fear for the next morning's conditioning? Are you gonna remember that person who sacrificed those long hours in the cage or in the bullpen? That person's still in there. You have to be able to tap into that and get back to believing that you can get anyone out on any given day. There's a couple of really important pillars of mentality that I want us to talk about, and it's belief. We've talked about belief a lot, and it's not arrogance, it's clarity. It's trusting exactly what you've trained for. The next is competing. Oh my goodness, you have to compete day in and day out, every single pitch. Nothing is Eyewash, nothing is done just to be done. Everything is done with purpose and executed to perfection. What about focus? What about locking in on what you can control and acting as though nothing else in the world exists? Not caring if someone on the other team thinks you look dumb, or not caring that if you try too hard, people will think less of you. What about the situation? Understand what's gonna happen. Can you see 2, 3, 4 pitches ahead and understand what needs to be done? And then, can you execute with intention? And lastly, when the game starts to speed up, when the game gets too big and you feel like you don't belong, can you reset? When doubt shows up, and don't worry, it will, so you can just get that out of the way now. Doubt will show up. You will never be free of doubt. When it shows up, can you get back to who you are? Your foundation, your work, your discipline? You know, this week at your job, at your school, in your sport, you're gonna have doubt. So I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to come up with a plan. How are you gonna attack it? How are you gonna address it? And how are you gonna get through it? I was pitching in front of 2,000 people and felt like I didn't belong. That changed really quickly, and I felt like I belonged ever since. From pitching in front of 2,000 people to pitching in front of 50,000 people, do what it takes to make yourself belong. This is Next Play Ortho. The next play is yours.